I'm here with the legendary Bill Whittle. I mean,
we're in an age of poor legends.
No. This is PJTV's Afterburner Firewall. I mean, he writes for Real Clear Politics. You do everything. You do a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything, yeah.
And a few days ago, my husband emailed me. He works upstairs and I work downstairs. He emailed me your Oikophobia video, and he was like, "Have you ever heard of Bill Whittle? This guy's amazing." And I'm like, "Yeah, no, it's for real, right there, my husband." So tell us a little bit about oikophobia and why it's a problem. It's the liberals have this fear of it's the fear and hatred of their own culture.
Yeah, oikophobia is kind of the opposite of xenophobia, where you have an unreasonable, irrational fear of the other. Oikophobia is the fear of the same. It's a fear of yourself, of your own culture, and so much of what liberal philosophy seems to be, from my perspective, is it's an attempt to earn some kind of unearned moral and intellectual superiority. What does that mean? It means if you have a bumper sticker on your car that says "Free Tibet," you're better than a person who has a bumper sticker on his car who says U.S. Marine Corps, even though the only chance of freeing Tibet is with the U.S. Marine Corps, right? So that's how it works. So if you drive a Prius and you get 40 miles a gallon, you're saving the planet. But if you drive an Escort and you get 30 miles a gallon, you're an evil, rotten, no good for nothing son of a bitch who just wants the world to burn.
You're a Republican.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So this idea of oikophobia is really, it's kind of a fetish almost. It's a fashion where people say, I'm so far advanced, I'm so far beyond you people morally and intellectually that I'm going to take the other guy's side in the argument. I'm on the side of the terrorists because it's our fault that we've caused these people to be this angry. They're not real people, like you and me. They're just little automatons that walk around. And so it's this just constant hatred and fear of one's own culture and shame. And I think it kind of goes to the self-hatred that seems to be at the basis of what you'd call modern liberalism. Classical liberalism, I'm a classical liberal, and so are you. But modern leftism is just really about this whole idea that America is evil, racist, violent, income disparity, all that stuff. It's oikophobia.
When do you think this really took hold? When did this become what it is today? Because in even the last 10 years, it's just gotten frightening.
I'd say it probably took hold about 2000 BC. If you look at Babylonian culture, the first great civilization, Babylon fell for the same reasons that every culture since then has fell. The elites become bored, and they become self-loathing. They have nothing really of their own merit. They didn't achieve their position through hard work or through inventiveness. They just basically inherited it, or they voted for it, or whatever. And all of these cultures, every great civilization in history, Babylon, Egypt, Greece, Rome, the Brits, the French, the Spanish, all rot from the top down. And we're seeing these same signs here in America. When the President of the United States says things like, well, you've made enough money, you don't need to make any more money, or that America's, needs to be changed. What they're basically saying is that they're not in love with what the country is, they're in love with what it would be if they could only make it over in their own image. And this goes back to Babylon, goes back to 2000 B3. So 7,000 years, more or less, give you an idea of how old and recurring this kind of idea is.
Where are we headed then? Are we going to end like they did? Because they didn't end very well.
No, they didn't end very well. I'll give you the honest answer. There is every indication, if you look at the cycles of history, that America's in the exact same area on the cusp of this instantaneous collapse. All civilizations climb very slowly, and then they collapse almost instantly. And if there was nothing different about America, I wouldn't be out doing these videos. I'd be in Montana stocking up on canned soup, right? America is different for a number of reasons. America is different because America has always been the only culture in history that's about the common people, not about the elites. So our entire mythology is different. And the other thing that's different about America today is we have the internet. And we have things like what you're doing right now, where common people can talk to each other and say, hey man, it ain't over till it's over. Don't let those elitist bastards get you down. Don't give up. Because every single time that civilization has collapsed, the common man, the regular man, has been out on the walls of the city, ready to defend that city with his life. He's got his sword, he's got his musket, and then some son of a bitch from the palace goes out at midnight in his silk robe and opens up the gate and lets the barbarians in. But common people are always ready to defend their culture. This is the first culture in history where common people like you and I have been able to talk to each other. So the fact that we can talk to each other and encourage each other and give each other ammunition in terms of, here's some facts or some arguments, never happened before. So if I didn't have hope for America, I'd be digging the bunker and ammoing up. But I don't believe that's the case. I absolutely believe we're going to whip them. And by the way, before we get too depressed about all this stuff, because I don't want to scare people without giving them hope, Barack Obama is their unicorn. He's not once in a lifetime. He's not once in a decade. He's not once in a century. He's once in history. And he has a 40% approval rating, and it continues to fall. If they can't do it with Barack Obama, they can't do it. And they're not doing it. He's failing, and he's going to fail. And we're going to win.
Yay. We are going to win. The amazing Bill Whittle. I'll put every single bit of his information on the website. You guys need to follow his career. He's an American philosopher. Everybody can learn from him. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. And it's the Bill Whittle channel on YouTube. It's all for free so that you can get all of your daily Bill Whittle requirements. It's been a great pleasure being here.
All right. I am here with someone who I consider a legend, even though he just said that if you have to call someone a legend, they're not a legend. But I disagree. He's a legend. He's a stand-up comedy. He's a funny guy. He's a writer. He writes for Big Hollywood. He did the most amazing video for the Heritage Foundation when he spoke there about how modern liberals think. I'll put the website right here for you guys to check it out if you don't already know about it. Evan, say it.
Oh, hey. I was listening to the intro and digging it, but now it's my turn to say something, and I said, hey. Hey.
Okay, he also wrote for Bill Maher's Politically Incorrect. He used to be a writer for those guys. Is he really a nice guy, or is he just the devil?
No, well, he's personally, he's a very not nice human being. He has never been a not nice human being. His success has only amplified his not niceness. But
you can hold back if you want.
no, look, he doesn't hold back. He uses certain words that I wouldn't use to describe very decent human beings, and he's glib and he's flip and he's mean about it, so why should I hold back? I'll tell you what, I will share with you a story, because people ask me, why did Mark change? What happened to Mark? 'Cause back when he was doing the show that I was writing, Politically Incorrect, and it was done out of New York, he was pretty reasonable. He was basically a libertarian. Suddenly, and what changed is not him. He was always a desperate narcissist, desperately needing people's approval. When you do a show in New York, though, and you leave the studio, you're in the middle of the street. There are cab drivers, there are doormen, there are construction workers. So he had to do a show that appealed to people who had jobs. When they brought the show out here to Hollywood, suddenly you get in your car, you leave the studio, you get in your car, the gate goes up. You don't get out of your car until the gate goes up in your community. And so who's going to tell him he's great? It's going to be one of his neighbors in the Hollywood Hills. So now he had to move far left to get Susan Sarandon to tell him how wonderful he is. Yeah.
That is fascinating. I never thought of it like that.
You don't have to. That's why I'm here. All right? You look beautiful, I think. Okay, you see the difference?
Hello.
Oh, gee.
I hear you have a comedy CD coming out, or is it out? What's going on with that?
I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know what I'm doing. Wait.
It's called Funny You Don't Look Conservative.
I got to update that website from 1987. Yeah, it's still coming out. That same one's still coming out. I don't know what I'm doing. I've got to talk to the Heritage Foundation, which now has more than 600,000 views, which is unheard of for an hour-long lecture.
You spoke. In a nutshell, tell us what that is. What is wrong with the modern liberal, and why are they ruining our world?
All right, the modern liberal sides invariably with evil, failure, and wrong. The examples I gave in that talk in 2007 were: give the modern liberal the choice between Saddam Hussein and the United States. He will side with Saddam Hussein and slander Americans. Bush lied? No, he didn't. You know what? If you disagree with the war, fine. Give me your arguments for not. There might be some very legitimate arguments. War is costly. War is costly in blood and treasure. Give me, but Bush lied? No, he didn't. Give them the choice between the vicious mass murdering corrupt terrorists in the West Bank and Gaza Strip and that tiny and wonderful democracy of Israel. They will plagiarize maps and engage in blood libels, as Jimmy Carter did in his book, Peace Not Apartheid. Look at Barack Obama. It's insane. We don't understand why he bowed to some world leaders, but not others. But who did he bow to? The despotic Saudi king, the symbol of Japanese imperialism, but not to our democratic ally, the Queen of England. Give them the opportunity. The Democrat will side with the evil over good, wrong over right, and the behaviors that lead to failure over those that lead to success. And if you need it in a nutshell, it's a 47-minute talk that I've been milking now for how many years? But I've actually given other talks since then that are just as brilliant, just not as well known.
Your talk this year to the Heritage Foundation, I watched that one. It was wonderful. It's wonderful. You guys, I'll put the website up there for you guys, but you've got to watch it.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. It is dead on.
And by the way, I was wrong. I am a legend. I take it back. You were right. I was wrong.
Yay! I just jumped up and down like a little girl. I just listened to you on the Adam Carolla show. You were so funny, and it was good to hear Carolla's big old conservative side. You guys should go on the road. You should do something. Have you ever considered like a comedy tour with like like the redneck conservative tour, but with conservatives?
Well, I actually have a conservative comedy tour. I call it Right to Laugh. And Alsonia Schmidt, who you may know, she's here this evening, but I actually turned her into a comedian. We wrote the Arsenio Hall show together years ago.
Oh, I didn't know that. I interviewed her. I didn't know that you did the Arsenio show. I thought you just did Mean People.
No, you had no idea. I was the voice of Black America. I put the words, I brought gangster rap to the world, and now I have to make up for it. I need to atone. That's why I became a conservative, because I'm guilt-ridden from bringing gangster rap into the world. Although it was mostly, I like big butts and I can't deny it. It was Sir Mix-a-Lot. It wasn't quite as bad as it is now.
And Evan also just wrote a brilliant piece, and it's called Why Jews Support the Democratic Party. What is wrong with them? What is it going to take? If they don't get it now, what's it going to take?
First of all, they're starting to get it. If you look at the numbers, they are moving. It's difficult to define a Jew because it's different than any other religion. A Christian, you're defined by your beliefs. If you believe that Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior, you're a Christian. To be a Muslim, you're defined by your beliefs. If you believe that Muhammad, the Quran is the final testament of God, Muhammad is perfect messenger, you're a Muslim. But to be called a Jew, to call yourself a Jew, you don't have to believe anything. All you have to do is plop out of a Jewish womb and say, "There's a Jew! Look, a Jew!"
What did you?
I call them the plopping Jews.
The plopping Jews is what.
Absolutely nothing Jewish about them except the accident of who their parents were. It was nothing they did. So why would you expect? Because to define somebody by something they had no control over, such as to say all Norwegians think this, or to say all Indians believe this, would be foolish. It's not true. But you can say all Christians believe that Jesus Christ is their Lord and Savior. But so to expect the plopping Jew to care at all about Judaism because he was born to a Jewish mother makes no sense. It's almost a form of bigotry. And in fact, they're even less likely. I keep pointing out to where a plopping Jew would have ended up.
I know. There's the placenta down there.
Right down. Placentia.
Placentia.
Yeah, it's a town. It's a city around here. And I played it. Was I saying something? To expect a plopping Jew to care about Israel or to have anything Jewish about his values is a form of bigotry. In fact, it's even slightly less likely that he would be supportive of Judaism than the average person, because at least he was introduced to Judaism. His mother, his father, his uncle, his aunt, his neighbors were Jewish. And so when he chose not to live a Jewish lifestyle, how is Steven Spielberg a Jew? Because he's got curly hair? Because he's got Berg at the end of his name? I mean, what is it that makes Spielberg a Jew? Nothing. So why would you expect him to care at all about Israel? Why would you expect him at all to have Jewish values? There's no reason to. And he doesn't.
But you say the numbers are changing.
The numbers are changing. Because you know what? I'll tell you what, my conservative values are not a reflection of my Judaism. I'm a plopping Jew. I really am. I had no real Jewish upbringing. I define my Jewish upbringing as 3 days. At the age of 8 days, they took a knife to my penis. All right? They were so proud of what they did, they threw themselves a party. All right? 12 years and 357 days later, I said words in a language I didn't understand. They were so happy that I was no longer a child, they threw themselves a party. All right? 10 years later, I stepped on a glass and I was married. They were so happy that I was no longer going to live with them that they threw themselves a party. That's my entire Jewish upbringing. My conservative values don't come from my Judaism. Actually, my Judaism is starting to come from my conservative values.
Very deep. See? Legend. Evan, thank you so much. And you guys, Evan Sayet, I'll put as much information. I am going to scream about him from mountaintops as much as I can.
And he's single.
And he's single.
And yeah, he's single.
You know, I'm gonna be a little personal here. Evan sent me a private message on Facebook and asked me if I had a sister.
First I think I asked you if you're married, or maybe not. Maybe it said on Facebook that you were. So then I asked you if you had a sister, and you said yes, and she's beautiful, and she's married. I said, okay, well, do you have a brother with long hair?
A brother with long hair. A brother with long hair. There you go. That's Evan. So, brothers with long hair.
No, don't keep hitting the point. It's a one-note joke, and then we move on. Transvestites with long hair, though, is yes. Okay?
There you go. Thank you so much. And God bless you. And anything Evan does, I'm going to let you know. And I'm going to post everything about him on my website. I highly recommend you go to PJTV.com and watch all of Bill Whittle's videos. They really are brilliant. And be sure and check out Evan Sayet at evansayet.com and watch his Heritage Foundation speeches. They are spot on. In my next video, you'll see my interviews with PJTV's Sonia Schmidt and Bosch Faustin, who created the Infidel graphic novels. Until next time, I'm Anne-Marie Murrell with Patriot Update saying, stay safe and keep the faith.